Despite a spate of mechanical failures causing several retirements this weekend, we still have a very impressive 27 cars lining up for race 2. On the front row, it's an American muscle car head-to-head. Mitch Millett in his Corvette will be hoping to take his maiden win from Mike Gardner in the Dodge Viper.
The cars making their way out on circuit, then ready for the second GT Cup race of the weekend. And as Charlie says, it is the American muscle cars at the front of the grid. Viper for Mike Gardner takes on Corvette of Mitch Millett. Then on the second row of the grid, the Aston Martin of Barry White alongside the BMW of Matt Selden. Andy Ruin shares row 3 with Piers Slipsager. And then there's Leon Price, Ian Hartley, Aaron Williams and Marco Pullen to round out the top 10. But lower back on the grid, you've got Michelangelo Segretore with his Lotus 22nd. He's going to be one to watch. Colin Simpson's Marcos Mantis lines up 27th. And Steve Taylor with his Lotus at the very back. And that normally is a very quick car. Rolling start as ever for the GT Cup. The lights go out now. The race underway. Who's going to make the run down towards Riches for the first time? It looks like it's going to be Mike Gardner who hits the front. Yes, he does, in the blue and white Viper. But then Barry White tries to challenge on the inside there. He goes second. Mitch Millett in the Corvette drops to third. Matt Selden fourth in the BMW as they turn their way now up towards Sear for the first time. Snetterton is very much a Viper circuit as Piers Slipsager goes up the inside and there's contact and he gets all sideways and spins, does he? He's on the grass then in the Ferrari trying to sort himself out, but it swaps ends. Piers Slipsager in trouble, and it looks as though his Porsche, the 996 shaped Porsche GT3, may be going no further. Mike Gardner, though, leads the way, coming out of the S's, up towards the bomb hole for the first time in glorious conditions here at Snetterton. Part of this very popular Lotus Festival this weekend. Big crowd here to watch the action as well. And Mike Gardner leads the way. He had a win at Silverstone, he had a win earlier on here this weekend as well. So Gardner up front, building the lead. Over in second place, Barry White and Mitch Millett. 88 Leon Price going through there, just ahead of Ian Hartley as Barry White hustles the Aston Martin DBR9 out of Russell, up over the start and finish line under real pressure though now from Mitch Millett and the Corvette, who comes up alongside him. Zero competition, Corvette C5R run by Dave Beecroft's very experienced team, then challenges on the outside going down towards Riches and Mitch Millett goes through. Very good bit of driving that. You see how much grunt the Corvette has got in a straight line. He makes the move stick. In fourth place, you've got Matt Selden, another very, very quick driver with the BMW. He shares the car with his father, Peter Selden. Peter did race 1, Matt drives in race 2, and now looking for a way past Barry White on board with Matt Selden. Now Barry getting all crossed up there. Brake light stabbing on ahead of him as he tries to sort himself out down the Revit straight on board with Matt Selden, though, as he tries to make the move. Somebody there off the road trying to rejoin. Number 40 is Ray Diaz in the Porsche. Not a happy start to the race for him as Matt Selden still can't quite find a way past the Aston Martin. It's a big car, it fills an awful lot of real estate, and Barry White doing a good defensive job here. He may have lost second place and he's now having to be very defensive for third, but he stays ahead of the BMW. Ferrari disappears left. That looks like Leon Price getting it wrong. Up ahead of him now goes Ian Hartley. Dust still settling as they're going through. Matt Selden then still trying to work out a way of getting past Barry White. Out of Russell, up towards the line they come. Cars that run in Group 1 of the GT Cup hold sway at the moment. Mike Gardner leading in second place, third and fourth, Barry White and Matt Selden. Those two running nose to tail as the leaders turn their way through Riches. There for fourth place, Matt Selden. The BMW, the bewinged BM, looking for a way to try to move itself up into third at the expense of Barry White in the Aston Martin. Out of Sear, onto the Revit straight now, they go down towards the S's once more. Mike Gardner, though, is just sauntering off into the distance. That Viper is a very serious bit of kit. Ray Diaz is back into the race. You saw the Porsche a lap down then between the top two cars. Henry Furman going through number 22 with his Porsche. Third place, Matt Selden versus Barry White. The fight continues. Barry White in the yellow Aston, Matt Selden in the blue BMW. It's Keith Webster, the car run by Jeff Steele, who's a very experienced BMW preparer and indeed racer. Jeff himself had a race win in another series a week ago at Brands Hatch, for example. Now there you've got number 18 Barry White fending off, but for how much longer? Matt Selden, those two cars virtually nose to tail now as they make the run up over the start and finish line on board with Matt Selden, working hard as Henry Furman in the meantime tries to keep at bay Keith Webster with his BMW, the Group 3 car, the 996 shape 911 GT3 Cup Porsche. Yellow flag being held there at the top of that short straight. Welcome back to Snetterton for the GT Cup. It's race 2 of the weekend, and this is the race leader. Mike Gardner has had one win already this weekend, and he leads the way now from in second place Mitch Millett, The Dodge Viper Competition Coupe leads the Chevrolet Corvette C5R. Gardner ahead of Millett as they make the run down the Revitt straight, but has Mike Gardner got a problem? The car fading just a little bit, and Mitch Millett now is about to pounce as they come down towards the S's. Mike Gardner had a big lead, that has been completely eroded, and Mitch Millett right on his tail. Mike Gardner, who's an experienced driver from karting, from One Make Saloons, One Make Sports Cars, GT racing under real pressure. They scrabble through the bomb hole, nose to tail. Who's going to come through Coram ahead? It is Mitch Millett, then the Corvette on its own, in fact, so he's found a way past the Viper. Has the Viper got a problem? Mitch Millett leads the way, and Mike Gardner down in second place. Now, at Silverstone, race 2 of the year, he dominated early on, then had a minor oil leak that sprayed the windscreen with oil, and he couldn't really see very clearly. He lost pace, he lost the race as a result of that, and it looks as though, again, there's a small problem for Mike Gardner, because having built up a lead, the lead has gone, the pace has gone, and Ian Hartley has gone as well. He bumps the curve, going through the bomb hole, runs really wide there, way out wide over the grass. Doesn't fight the car, lets it do its own thing, heads back towards the tarmac, and he's got a puncture, has he? Yes, he has, look! Through the S's, up towards the bomb hole now. Barry White is still going strong in third place. He's got Matt Selden still challenging him. These two have been nose to tail pretty much for most of the race. Matt Selden there just runs a little bit wide coming out of Riches. Hooks a wheel onto the dirt. That will compromise him slightly, and he's sideways as well there, going out of Sear corner. Onto the Revitt straight now. Aston Martin leads BMW. On board with Matt Selden. Very experienced BMW racer. Very competent driver indeed. Won't be long, I think, before he gets himself back into contention with Barry White's Aston Martin. And Barry, somebody else, after a long time spent in the British GT Championship, where he was quick but occasionally erratic, has calmed down quite a lot as a driver in the last 12 months. He's a far more complete driver than ever he was, and he's really working hard now to keep Matt Selden at bay. And Matt's car getting very oversteery as the race wears on. You saw him get a wheel out of line at Riches. He was sideways at Sear. The onboard shot there coming out of the bomb hole showed he was really sawing away behind the wheel. He's really brave on the brakes though, coming down now towards Russell, and Matt Selden needs a good exit from this little complex of corners to have a run. As for the race lead, Mitch Millett is back under pressure, look. Right there behind him all of a sudden is Mike Gardner. Now there's more and more traffic further up the road that they need to be aware of. The Aston Martin of Will Goff, as Mike Gardner dives up the inside and retakes the race lead. Mike Gardner then in the Viper gets the lead back, and now the question is, what's happened to Mitch Millett's car? Has that got a problem? Here for third place, still running together, Barry White is keeping Matt Selden at bay. Matt this time a little bit smoother through Riches. What about at Sear? Yeah, it doesn't look too oversteery this time. Onto the Revitt straight. The Aston Martin keeps the BMW at bay, and in fact in a straight line. Barry just edges away by a length or two, but then locks up under braking at the end of the Revitt straight. All of that tar smoke is ahead of Matt Selden. Barry White scrabbles round the corner. If there's a gap on the inside, yes there is, Matt Selden goes for it, and off the road is Barry White. It was more therefore perhaps than just a brake lock. Let's see whether he's got a tyre problem. It's all over the grass, of course, having come into the S's on the wrong line. It's very hard to wrestle the car through the sequence of corners and get back onto the right line. Eventually he just runs out of road and goes onto the grass. So can Barry White carry on? Mitch Millett also, he's getting slower and slower and slower. It looks as though the Corvette is bound for the pit lane. So Matt Selden, all of a sudden, is about to inherit second place. Millett goes for the pits. Barry White went rally crossing, remember. There's a mechanical warning flag, and also there you see the board being held out for other drivers with woes, Mitch Millett being one, who heads straight to Park Fair Cup. He comes down up towards the checkered flag. Viper, Snetterton, more racing. Mike Gardner, the perfect combination as he comes across the line now to win here at Snetterton. So Mike Gardner, the winner by an enormous margin in the end of over 43 seconds from Matt Selden. Andy Ruin third, taking his first class win, and fourth going the way of Leon Price.